Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to 2CTV and your latest news update from the US elections. Ladies and gentlemen, this is kicking off. Everything is kicking off. The White House is in meltdown. The Biden-Harris campaign is in chaos. More people from the liberal establishment are abandoning the Kamala ship. And, of course, the whole of the establishment are now planning more stitch-ups against the traitors. Before we start, don't forget we have released our new show on 2CTV Plus, the Global Islamic Takeover. You can watch that on 2ctvplus.tv or find the link in the description, uncensored, unfiltered, and ad-free. Help us obviously keep going as an independent channel by joining 2CTV Plus. Let's talk about Jeff Bezos. Jeff Bezos, of course, the man behind Amazon and the man who bought the Washington Post in 2013, has been essentially part of the cabal, the liberal cabal, until now. He was, relatively speaking, a yes man. He was cooperative with the US Democrats and the whole of the liberal establishment. But things are changing. We know it's changing because he's not the only one. They've realized that the tide is turning. They've realized that if they want to remain as capitalists, they have to put business first. If they continue to alienate half the country in the US, the Republican voters, then they're going to lose everything that they have. You've seen what's happened to Disney as a company. Now, as I said, Jeff Bezos is not the first one to abandon that ship. We've already had, a while ago, Elon Musk, who was not necessarily political before, but he was a liberal. And I think he's always a liberal, but not in a bad way. He's a classical liberal, libertarian leaning. But they saw him as part of that side. But until a while ago. We also had Mark Zuckerberg quite recently coming out and actually exposing the US Democrats and the FBI and making a promise to Donald Trump that he will no longer allow the FBI or the White House to influence Meta, whether it's Facebook or Instagram, on election interference, all these issues that we had, political bias, basically. He decided to come out to say, enough is enough. I'm not going to be backing Kamala Harris or the US Democrats. Jeff Bezos is now the latest person who's come out to actually, slightly be reasonable, be slightly normal. Because he doesn't want to go completely woke, because go woke, go broke, as Trump would say. As the person in charge of the Washington Post, he's realized that there is a massive decline when it comes to the mainstream press and media in America. There's a huge distrust coming from the American population. Now, what he decided to do was he came out, wrote an editorial piece saying, we're not going to be endorsing Kamala Harris. We're not going to get political. We're going to take Washington Post back to its glory days of actually being professional and objective. Now, the rest of the liberal nutters are having a meltdown. 200,000 of the Washington Post subscribers have decided to cancel their membership of the Washington Post. But now, the White House, they're all calling around their friends to tell the other libtards to essentially target Jeff Bezos. The same thing that they did recently with Mark Zuckerberg. No more support for Zuckerberg. They don't really have his back anymore. This is not the first time they've gone after Jeff Bezos. They've done it again. They've done it a few years ago over the other issues that he refused to completely cooperate, to become way too political. But back then, they became friends for a little while. Under Biden, not anymore. Now, Jeff Bezos, just like Mark Zuckerberg, is sending a message to Donald Trump and his team that don't worry, we're not going to any longer allow any sort of political influence to come into our platforms to mess with the elections. He also said something very interesting, Jeff Bezos, for once, because he, in his piece, he wrote that basically we've been out of touch. The whole of the mainstream, the press, the media, entertainment industry, normal people out there in America are not going to be paying attention to Disney, for example, or even Meta to tell them what they should do in the election. He said, Presidential endorsements do nothing to tip the scales of an election. No undecided voter in Pennsylvania is going to say, well, I'm going with newspaper A's endorsement. None. Jeff Bezos also said what presidential endorsements actually do is create a perception of bias, a perception of non-independence. Ending them is a principled decision, and it is the right one. He's correct. It's the same that we always say about political opinion polls. Opinion polls are not there to reflect the opinions that's changed. The opinion polls are there to actually influence the change in the public. It's a strategic move done by the political establishment. Now, it is true that no normal person, undecided voter, is going to say, I'll just wait to see what Washington Post will tell me to do. It's the same in this country. The newspaper, The Sun, over the last couple of decades, every election, if The Sun endorses that party wins the election. Now, a lot of people say, well, it's probably because they are reflecting the mood in the country, or they are it's simply because they know what the wave is going to be, and they are there. It's business. They want to keep winning, and they're gonna say, we are the Sun. We always call the right winner at every election. It's all about influence. Now, the White House and Team Biden going around calling everybody, saying, get everyone to cancel their subscriptions. 200,000 people, right? 200,000 liberal, middle-class, pseudo-academics cancelling the membership of Washington Post. The same they did to Elon Musk when it came to the battle between him and Twitter. When Elon bought Twitter, they went around, called everybody, all the companies, saying, you guys should no longer put your adverts on Twitter. But obviously, Elon said, I don't care. I've got the money. We're going to keep going, and we're going to come up with a new business model. Obviously, he rebranded Twitter to X, and he decided to find new avenues to generate revenue. Now he's got premium memberships on X if you want to get more out of X and everything else. And he's bringing back the advertisers, the better advertisement. Let's not forget, X or Twitter, as obviously known before, these things are international platforms. If a bunch of liberal American businesses are going to be rebelling and saying we will refuse to actually work with Elon Musk's X, Elon could just go to different countries and get businesses from those countries to come and advertise. And that's exactly what's happening now. Same could be applied to Jeff Bezos. Same has applied now over the last few weeks to Mark Zuckerberg. Now, Meta got a massive hit when Zuckerberg came out against Kamala Harris. But they found a new strategy. Meta as a company, obviously they're now trying to be obviously less political. They still do censorship because people who work at the top of Meta, Facebook and Instagram, they have their own biases. But the leadership of Zuckerberg himself and his top team, obviously he made massive changes now, they've been focusing on business and products. They are actually making good products, including Quest, Meta Quest, the VR headset. And they realized, well, Elon Musk is being better at everything right now. At business, at political decisions, whatever he's going to be doing, as a celebrity, if you want to call it that. And this is the invisible hand of the market. This is true free market capitalism. When one successful person is making the right moves, the others will have to follow. Mark Zuckerberg had to follow Elon relatively. Jeff Bezos, they realized, well, he's winning. He's beating us at everything now. And if Elon Musk and X start producing products in the name of X, even, for example, VR headsets. Now, Elon has said, for example, they are working on creating a video platform like YouTube on X. Now, that's going to completely mess things up. There's massive competition for YouTube in the future. He's going to be doing many other things. He's already created a new AI platform to compete with ChatGPT. So they know. Zuckerberg knows. Bezos knows. They know that the only way to survive is to actually learn from the best. That's called free market capitalism. Competition is healthy. But the political leadership are having a meltdown because they don't understand this. Biden and Harris are going around saying, oh no, we feel betrayed. We have to bring you down. Whoa. So what? You bring down one, the others will rise up. This is why money and politics, the relationship, the toxic relationship between corporations, big business, and big government need to be cut. It's unhealthy, it creates corruption, and it undermines democracy. Let's get some reaction from the live chat. Crispy Pork Belly says, Zuckerberg the lizard. It's funny, Zuckerberg over the last few years was going around getting a lot of media training. And when he started appearing in front of the DC politicians, he was really robotic. Very on point. But recently, over the last year, he's been getting extra training, new type of training to make him human again. so he looks more human now, whether it's his hair and everything else, and he smiles more like, So the first training was too much. Now you got extra training to become human again. It's crazy. Absolute insanity. Fiona is absolutely correct that you are the best, Mr. Tusi. I absolutely agree with that comment, Fiona. Thank you. Fiona never lies. All right. AFC Manu Case says, isn't Elon's video platform out there already? It's called X Videos. No, the actual platform is still being worked on. You can obviously still do videos on X, but it's still part of the timeline. X Videos. Brilliant. Zuckerberg is trying so hard to become a human. He is, but he's AI, so. All right. Is Biden-Harris going after the left propaganda MSM refused to endorse? Yeah, so this is the summary, essentially. It's not really the first time. I remember in 2012 when some of the mainstream press and also broadcast media were not really going to be too positive about Obama. The whole of the White House, they started this massive stunt to basically undermine journalists, press journalists who were part of the White House. So they basically said, if hypothetically CNN or ABC don't go around saying nice things about Obama, then we're not going to give you access to the White House. I'm like, I think that's a little bit dictatorial, but fine. Eventually they won. Team Obama. They got what they wanted. Anyway. The moment Musk creates a competitor to YouTube, most of the people to the competitor, I don't know where the rest of the comments gone, but it is going to be hard. It's a long journey. So if Elon finishes this project for the video platform to compete with YouTube, because he's now more political than before, because he's now on Trump's side and he's going to get a job in the government, just like the struggle with X, because they did lose a lot of advertisers, and also at first it became less mainstream, but X eventually won that battle. X as a platform is now very mainstream. So the first few months or years of the new YouTube under Elon is going to be hard, just like how it was hard for Rumble and others, and they are struggling compared to YouTube. Now they are free platforms, free speech platforms, whatever, but they don't have the reach that YouTube has. YouTube, being part of Google, has a massive reach. Everybody watches it, left-wingers, right-wingers, that, and also a lot of advertisement. Now, but that comes at a cost, censorship, to keep the advertisers happy. So if you create a more pro-free speech YouTube, then obviously at first you have to work harder to get more businesses, because you're going to lose a lot of mainstream businesses, the liberal businesses, the ones with big money. And you also have to convince the mainstream people, the non-political people and others, that don't worry, this is not a far-right platform. Come, watch it, use it. So it's a business strategy that you have to do. Because if the YouTube competitor under Elon is just a more pro-free speech version of YouTube, but with only a few people on it, only a few million people on it, it's not going to be successful. Because if 2CTV is on it, but not many people are watching it, not only the ad revenue is low as a business, for a channel, but also the reach. The key is also reach, the views. Now, as I said, the mainstream platforms like, well, the wider platforms like YouTube, being part of Google, it does give you the reach, but it comes at a cost. At times there's censorship. And that is the problem. The pressure from the globalist multinational companies as advertisers, they don't want this, they don't want that. And sometimes the political decisions from executives, some of the executives. Yeah, do you remember, Jay's right, YouTube removed the dislike numbers. You can't see how many people dislike a video when Biden became president. Yeah, so there were a couple of videos that the White House were publishing. And then the moment they get more dislikes than likes, YouTube just removed the number. You can't really see how many people dislike a video, which is kind of funny. If Zuckerberg or Zuck could just fully come out red-pilled, that would be nice. Well, there's the thing. So he can't fully do it yet, because but you can see the indications, because Elon has started saying nice things about him. Clearly, they've had conversations, because until like a year ago, they were fighting. They were saying, let's have a boxing match as well. But Zuckerberg is still working on a number of very, very big projects, including his products and everything else. And he can't make himself too much of a target yet. So he's already basically alienated the establishment. He's already made himself a target. But if he actually decides to come out publicly to say, I am now going to be an anti-woke business person, the timing has to be right. Because then he's going to be completely, at least politically assassinated, let's just say. Anyway. What else do we have? Sandra says that you can see the number of dislikes with an add-on in Chrome. That's just a lot of effort just to see number of dislikes. Rhonda says, and you are successfully reaching this disillusioned Canadian in the Islamic State of Montreal. Islamic State. Well, thank you, Rhonda, for watching 2CTV, and all the other lovely Canadians as well who continue to regularly watch and support this channel. Islamic State. It's sort of like when we say the Islamic Republic of Londonstan instead of London. Anyway, Chase says, mate, all English, Welsh and Scottish flags were banned on YouTube for years. They were blacked out. I complained about it for years and they brought them back. You didn't know, we started a campaign. This is about a year ago. So as part of the standard emojis, they had the official flags of the United Nations. So the UK flag is the official flag, but not the Welsh or Northern Ireland or Scotland or even England. And obviously, I had meetings with the executives at YouTube. It took a few months, obviously, because you guys raised this. I wasn't the only one. There were a number of other channels. We worked together to have meetings with the executives at YouTube, and they actually added it. They didn't even have it. They didn't remove it. They never had it. It was always a black flag. And it wasn't just about Scotland, England, or Wales, or Northern Ireland. There were a number of other countries that had similar issues because their flag was not part of the United Nations, the standard emoji list of flags. Obviously, then they got them fixed. As you can see, Simply Joy just posted England flag emoji and Union Jack as well. God bless England. Yeah, that process took a while. Obviously, after our meetings with the executives at YouTube, every day or week, we were getting comments on this channel saying, "Is it fixed yet? Is it fixed yet?" And eventually, we got it fixed. Too bad, because the Welsh flag is sick. Well, it's here now. You can see it. So. It's fixed now, guys. Come on. Anyway. By the way, it's still it might not still be visible to everybody because there's still there's a massive bug issue. Because I've been looking at the servers and the structure of YouTube. It's a huge monster. If you want to make a tiny change, it will take months because it's so bureaucratic. They have to go through everything first. Got another England flag emoji. So some people might not see the emojis yet, but it will eventually get there in a few months. Anyway, I think that's all the reactions we have from the live chat for now. As I said, we have released our new premium show on 2CTV Plus called the Global Islamic Takeover. You could watch this by going on 2ctvplus.tv. Hopefully this will be informative. This is about what's actually been going on with the Islamic agenda, and especially after 1979 when they took control of Iran. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for watching. I'm Maya 2C and we are the media.